Supershuttle service is unveiled inside an English country garden, which is inside. Director of Marketing Liam Strong explains why it's worth spending £11 million on September's relaunch, and he sets out BA's current marketing agenda.
As the talks continue over British Airways' proposed stake in Sabina, we examine the potential of such a deal in the battle for the European market.
Pre-tax profits up 18.5% to £96 million in the first quarter, but costs are still a cause for concern.
We've invited you from the four corners of the Supershuttle world.
200 guests from all parts of the UK, civic dignitaries, representatives of industry and the media, gathered in London for the launch of the new domestic product. Here, in the unlikely setting of Heathrow's Bay 16 TBD. The transformation of the hangar to an English country garden had prompted a reminder from Lord King in his opening remarks to the invited audience that this was one of the few occasions when the airline was happy to have the grass grow under its feet. Among British Airways' senior management team at the launch, Director of Marketing Liam Strong was on hand to discuss the details of the service improvements, which go online in September. Before Bay 16 was returned to its usual duties, I asked him about the justification for the £11 million relaunch of Shuttle.
We're spending £11 million in Supershuttle, Michael, because if we do not spend that money, we will find our position in the UK market gradually eroded over time against not only British Midland but other competitors. Our product in the UK has simply not been competitive enough. Our punctuality has not been as good as it should have been. We have allowed British Midland to offer catering and demonstrate that that is something that passengers will shift from our service to theirs for. In addition to that, our people around the network throughout the UK have begun to feel increasingly frustrated and indeed somewhat demoralised because they have not felt that we are offering them the tools with which to compete. Those, therefore, are the reasons that we need a competitive UK service. It's a major source of passengers. We should be able to make money at it, do it profitably, and equally importantly, if we allow other people to come in, then we'll find them competing with us in other parts of the network.
So our public stance that we're doing this purely because we're listening to our customers isn't entirely true. We're doing it because BMA have taken a slice of our market.
A key element in any marketplace is your competitors. It would be silly to say that you ignore them. But this relaunch isn't just about our competitors. It's about what we believe is right for the public, which will give us a competitive advantage.
To sustain that competitive advantage, 4 of British Airways' major services have been relaunched in the past 2 years. The success of this rebranding is being closely watched. Club World has made the greatest impact with a 31% increase in traffic in the first year since its launch. Club Europe has achieved an increase of 12%. And the new first-class service is already beginning to take market share from British Airways competitors. As for Supershuttle, Liam Strong expects to see the costs of relaunch recouped within 2 years. But the costs of creating added value products are substantial. So why has this become such an integral part of British Airways' marketing strategy?
We are a large airline. We are never going to be, nor would we wish to be, as low cost as the newest entrant. We have to live by having a sensible cost base and by providing added value products that justify higher prices. And to my mind, that is really the definition of branding. The definition of a brand is a product that gives the consumer the value that they want at a price which they're prepared to pay, which is also satisfactory for the company.
Our own figures show that 76% of our flights in April operated on time. The average delay was just 14.6 minutes, against the industry mean of 24 minutes. ATC was the greatest single cause of short-haul delays, responsible for over 40% of late flights. £11 million is being spent on a series of measures to protect our operations against ATC delays this summer.
It is a little over 6 weeks since British Airways announced that it was in discussion with KLM and Sabena with a view to the British and Dutch carriers taking a share in the Belgian airline. Those talks are continuing, and the Memorandum of Understanding should shortly be signed by Deputy Chairman and Chief Executive Sir Colin Marshall and his counterparts at Sabena and KLM. It is a time of major changes in Europe, presenting significant opportunities for the growth and development of European services. This alliance between British Airways and its two prospective partners is intended to meet those challenges. The partnership has three main objectives: to provide greatly improved communications within Europe, particularly between regional cities, to develop and enhance long-haul operations from Brussels, and to improve local services between Brussels and other cities in Europe.
The proposal centres on the creation of an American-style hub at Brussels, with flights several times a day linking the airport to around 70 European towns and cities. The one-day business test illustrates the advantages of such a system. Take the example of a business passenger from Vienna. At present, he can fly to a limited number of destinations in Europe in a one-day trip, with enough time to conduct his business and return home. As the result of British Airways' proposed alliance and the creation of a Brussels hub, many more destinations will be within his reach. This would require a substantial expansion of the Sabena fleet, but the consumer benefits would be considerable. There would be improved frequencies and more convenient schedules, and the diversion of traffic away from congested airports. It would give greater choice at regional airports, and greatly improved communications between Brussels, the EC capital, and other cities within the community and worldwide.
KLM and British Airways, independent of each other, taking minority positions in a new Sabena airline, which is being created by the Sabena group of companies in Belgium. In terms of the broad plan, what we envisage is the new Sabena developing a major hub and spoke system within Europe, all of course based on Brussels Airport, which is one of the more underutilized of the major airports in Europe, certainly one of the major airports in Europe that has two runways available, which can be eventually used in parallel.
But could we not go it alone in Europe? Do we need the link with two other airlines?
Well, it's a very good point, and theoretically, under the concept of liberalization in Europe, yes, we could do it, going it alone as BA, but realistically, we do not think that it is going to be feasible in the foreseeable future. And in that context, I think certainly in the next 3 to 4 years. And if we don't get going on it, somebody else for sure will, and we would be left on the sidelines.